see. So these muscles here are actually the muscles of the anterior compartment. So they are arranged in 3 layers, one superficial, middle and deep layer. What is specific for the anterior compartment? Most of the muscles, they originate from the medial epicondyle of the humerus. Here is the medial epicondyle, you can see. So these muscles which start from the medial epicondyle, they are muscles of the anterior compartment. They are attached to the bones of the wrist and bones of the metacarpal bones and phalanges. What else? What is the function of the anterior compartment? Flexion. They are flexors. They make flexion in the joints of the wrist and joints of the fingers here and metacarpal phalangeal joints too. And what is the nerve supply? It is the same for all the muscles except one. Which nerve? Median nerve. Okay, so here we'll search for the median nerve. This is the median nerve, actually. This is the median nerve. Okay. Here you can see how it enters here the forearm through the cubital fossa, and here it appears superficially close to the wrist, somewhere in the middle, in the central part of the wrist. Okay. So median nerve, except one muscle. This is the flexor carpi ulnaris muscle. It is supplied by the ulnar nerve. This nerve here is the ulnar nerve, and you can find the ulnar nerve here, close to the flexor carpi ulnaris muscle. Okay, together with the which artery? What do you think? Which will be this artery here? Ulnar artery, yes. They are almost parallel. Ulnar artery and ulnar nerve. Okay, and what about this element? Can you recognize this element? You know it from our previous lessons? Radial artery. You can see here in the cubital fossa how the brachial artery separates and gives the 2 final branches, radial artery and ulnar artery. So radial is here, parallel to the radius, to the thumb, corresponding to the thumb, and parallel to the ulnar we have the ulnar artery and ulnar nerve. They are hidden beneath the flexor carpi ulnaris muscle. And in the central part we have the median nerve. So actually we did the blood and nerve supply here of the anterior compartment. Now we have to see which are the muscles here and how they are arranged. They are arranged in 3 layers. One superficial, we have one muscle in the middle layer, and the rest of the muscles are in the deep layer of the anterior compartment. Okay, so which are the muscles of the superficial layer? We have 4 of them. 4 muscles of the superficial layer, 1 in the middle, and 3 muscles of the deep layer. 4, 1, 3. Which are the 4 muscles of the superficial layer? You know the first one. Do you remember? All these muscles, they originate here from the medial, with some differences, but generally they start from the medial epicondyle of the humerus. Which is this muscle? Nisrin will tell us. Oh no. Pronator teres muscle, this one. And it is shorter than the other muscles because it ends here attached to the middle of the radius, the middle part of the shaft of the radius. The second muscle is flexor carpi radialis, yes. Then we have one more muscle which is actually not present here. It must be close to the flexor carpi radialis here, very thin and short muscle with a very thin and long tendon attached to the palmar aponeurosis. Here it's not possible to see this muscle. Actually, in 20% of individuals it is not present. It is not present, this muscle, in 20% of the individuals. So here we can't see this muscle, but it is very thin muscle. It is called palmaris longus muscle. Palmaris longus muscle. And then we have one more muscle, this muscle. Flexor carpi ulnaris. So these are the four muscles of the superficial layer. And we have one muscle in the middle layer, this muscle. Do you know which muscle is this one? How do we call it? It's again a flexor. Yes, flexor digitorum superficial, or superficial flexor digitorum. This wide muscle, it is wide, it has a tendon which is separated in four parts for the fingers from number 2 to number 5. And these four tendons, you can see the tendons here in the palm, they reach the middle phalanges of the four fingers, and here close to the middle phalanges, each of these four tendons splits in two and attaches to the base of the middle phalanges. So this is the superficial flexor digitorum. What is the function of this muscle? It will be flexion of the digits, proximal and middle phalanges. Can be flexed proximal and the middle phalanges because of the superficial flexor digitorum. Okay, and also flexion here in the metacarpophalangeal joints, and it helps the flexion in the joints of the wrist. So all these muscles are flexors, you know, flexion in these joints of the hand. Okay, and we have now three muscles deeper than these. The first one is under the superficial flexor digitorum. This one, we call it deep flexor digitorum muscle. It is the same as the superficial one, again with four tendons for fingers from number 2 to number 5, but it has longer tendons, four tendons, because they reach the distal phalanges. And these four tendons are attached to the base of the distal phalanges of the fingers from number 2 to number 5. And these four tendons, they pass between the tendons of the superficial flexor digitorum. So if the superficial flexor digitorum is attached here on the two sides of the middle phalanges, between them we can see the longer tendon of the deep flexor digitorum. Okay, so it will make flexion where? Flexion in the second interphalangeal joints. So it will make flexion in the flexion of the distal phalanges of these four fingers. Okay. The second muscle of the deep layer is this muscle here. Not very nice, but this muscle here, not this one, they are not separated here on this preparation, but here this one, it is for the pollex, it is called flexor pollicis longus, for the thumb. Actually it makes flexion of the thumb, flexor pollicis longus, this muscle here. And one more muscle, it is very deep here. We have to remove the rest of the muscles. This muscle that you see with transverse muscle fibers starting from the ulna and going towards the radius, transverse muscle fibers only in the distal part of the forearm. It is called pronator quadratus muscle. So pronator teres and pronator quadratus muscles, they make pronation of the forearm. Pronation is the function of these two muscles. Okay, I'm repeating the muscles. Superficial layer, this is only anterior compartment. pronator teres, flexor carpi radialis, palmaris longus, which is missing, flexor carpi ulnaris. Then we have flexor digitorum superficial, flexor digitorum deep one or profundus, flexor pollicis longus, and pronator quadratus. Also we have the median nerve, the radial artery here, the ulnar artery, and the ulnar nerve. And this structure here that you see a transverse part of the fascia, it holds all the tendons of these muscles close to the bones of the wrist. It is called retinaculum, or to be more specific, it is called flexor retinaculum because it's for the flexors. It holds the tendons of the flexors close to the bones of the wrist. This thing that you see here is the thickest part of the fascia which covers the muscles of the forearm and the muscles of the wrist. Okay. This. Any questions? No.